Hello students, today I will give a lecture on the anatomy of male reproductive system. Okay, let's begin. For an overview of the male reproductive system, it consists of the testes, which produce sperm and hormones, the external genitalia, including penis and scrotum, and then the accessory organs, okay, comprised of ductus deferens, seminal glands, prostate glands, urethra, and epididymis. I will cover one by one as we go through this lecture. So, how to understand the principal structures of male reproductive system? Okay, easy. The answer is by understanding the flow pathway of the sperm. Okay, from the testis until the urethra. So the flow of sperm pathway starts from the testis, okay, then it moves to the epididymis, then goes to the ductus deferens, and after that to the ejaculatory duct, then the urethra. Okay. So here is the video of sperm pathway. I will share the link of this video in the description below, or you can find it also in the UKM folio. Okay, let's start from the scrotum. A scrotum is the house for the testes. Okay? When I said testis with E, it is plural, but when it is testis with I, it is singular. Right? So there is a scrotal cavity inside the scrotum, which house the testis. And the scrotal cavities are separated by scrotal septum, which is marked by the raphe. Here is the image showing you the location of scrotal cavity, scrotal septum, and the raphe, which I have just described earlier. Then, there are two important muscles in the scrotum. They are dartos muscle and cremaster muscle. To make you further understand the roles of both muscles, I'll give you an example situation. Okay, let's say you have a brother and your brother is going for a swimming together with his friends in the ocean during a very cold weather. So what will happen here? In response to the cold weather, dartos muscle will elevate the testis and wrinkle the scrotal surface to reduce the heat loss. And at the same time, the cremaster muscle will pull the testis closer to the body to get the heat from the body. Okay? And in this slide is the list of scrotum-associated structures. First, the spermatic cord. As men have two scrotums, so they have two spermatic cords. The spermatic cord extends between testes and abdominopelvic cavity, and the spermatic cord contains ductus deferens, blood vessels, nerves, and lymphatic vessels. Next associated structures are inguinal ring and inguinal canal. For inguinal ring, it is the opening and the exit of the inguinal canal. So, inguinal canal is like a tunnel that from body cavity into the scrotum. Okay? Here is the image showing you the inguinal canal and inguinal ring. Here is the image of the spermatic cord with their components. Okay, after the scrotum, now we look into the testis. Testis is the primary sex organ as the sperm is produced inside the testis. And the testis has two tunica or two layers. The first tunica is tunica vaginalis, which is the outer tunic. And tunica vaginalis has two layers. The second tunica is tunica albuginea, which is the inner tunic. From the tunica albuginea, septa will extend and it will divide into several lobules. So inside the lobules is the seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule is a coiled tubule. Seminiferous tubules are the site for the sperm production. Okay, after the sperm is produced in the seminiferous tubule, it will move to the rib testis, which is located outside the lobule. Then the sperm will move to the efferent duct, which is a ductal that leads the sperm to the epididymis. Here is the horizontal section image of the testis with labeling of the structure. So the outer tunica is the tunica vaginalis, right? Then the inner tunic is tunica albuginea. Then the seminiferous tubule, which produce the sperm, okay? And then the sperm will move to the rib testis and then to the efferent duct. Okay. Alright, as we talk about sperm, let's look into the sperm structure. The sperm has acrosomal cap, the head, neck, middle teeth, and the tail. The tail is responsible to move the sperm, okay, or for the sperm to swim. Here is the leveling image of the sperm structure from the acrosomal cap to the tail. Okay, yes, you know that sperm comes from the testis, but the exact production site for the sperm is occurred in the seminiferous tubule. In this tubule, there are several cells, okay, including spermatogonia, primary and secondary spermatocyte, then spermatid, which undergoing spermiogenesis and become spermatozoa. And the spermatozoa is actually the sperm cell, okay? Alright, other than these cells that I have just mentioned, there is one more cell in the seminiferous tubule. It is called Sertoli cell or nurse cell. As this cell is known as the nurse, so their function is to create blood-testis barrier for protection in the seminiferous tubule and also nourish the development of spermatozoa or the sperm cell. So the process of sperm production is called spermatogenesis. The process occurs in the seminiferous tubule from the basement membrane of the tubule towards the lumen. Okay? The type of cells also changing from the basement membrane to the lumen. Okay? And the final cell produced in the lumen is the spermatozoa or the sperm cell. Okay? Alright, the sperm cell has been produced in the testis. We'll move to the epididymis. As men have two testes, so of course they have two epididymis. So epi here means on, didymos means twin. Okay? The epididymis is a coiled tube that sits on the posterior border of the testis. So in the epididymis, the sperm will undergo functional maturation for roughly 2 weeks. And in epididymis, there are 3 parts. Okay? The head, body, and tail. And among these 3 parts, the tail part of epididymis will store the sperm cell until the ejaculation event occurs. Next, the sperm from the tail of epididymis will move to the ductus deferens or vas deferens. Okay? The ductus deferens is about 45 centimeters long, and the end part of the ductus deferens will expand to form the ampulla of ductus deferens, and it will join the seminal vesicle or seminal gland to form the ejaculatory duct. Okay? And the ejaculatory duct is a structure that connects the ductus deferens to the urethra. Okay, here is the structure of epididymis. Okay, as you can see that there are 3 parts in the epididymis: the head, the body, the middle part, and the tail of epididymis. Okay. It is a coiled tube, right? Okay, let's look at the anatomical structure of ductus deferens. From the tail of the epididymis, ductus deferens will ascend posterior to the testis. Then, as ductus deferens is part of the spermatic cord, it will pass through the inguinal channel. Then, it will cross the lateral wall of pelvic cavity. After that, it extends to the posterior surface of the urinary bladder, and the end part of ductus deferens, which is the ampulla of ductus deferens, will join the seminal vesicle or seminal gland to form a structure called ejaculatory duct. Okay, that is quite a long journey for the sperm cell to travel in the ductus deferens, isn't it? Here is the diagram showing you the posterior view of the urinary bladder, the ampulla of ductus deferens, the seminal gland or seminal vesicle, the ejaculatory duct, and the prostate gland. Okay, now let's look into the male accessory glands. Male accessory glands are important for fluid production that make up the semen. Okay, you know what is semen? Semen is a fluid that carries sperm cells, and it also helps the sperm to survive in order to help in successful fertilization. Okay? There are 3 glands. First, seminal gland or seminal vesicle. For these seminal glands, they lie in the posterior bladder surface. And seminal glands contribute about 60 to 70% to the semen volume. Okay? So this makes the seminal gland the highest contributor as compared to other glands. Okay? Next gland is the prostate gland. The prostate gland encircles the urethra and it is located inferior to the urinary bladder. This prostate gland contributes about 20 to 30% of the semen volume. And the third gland is bulbourethral gland, where the glands are located inferior to the prostate gland. The structure of bulbourethral gland looks like a pom-pom. You know pom-pom from the cheerleaders? Okay. Alright, here as you can see, the labeling in red, they are the male accessory glands. Now, we move to the penis. Penis encircles the urethra, as the urethra conducts the urine and also semen to the exterior, but not at the same time. Okay? For penis structure, it has root, body, and glands or head. Okay, first the root of the penis. The root of the penis is a fixed portion that attaches to the body wall. Okay, so the root of penis is immovable. The second structure is the body or shaft of the penis, which is a tubular part and it is movable. The third structure is the glands or head of the penis. Okay, in the glands of the penis, it has a structure of neck and prepuce. Okay, do you know what is prepuce? Prepuce is the foreskin. Okay, for your information, for Muslim men, the prepuce or foreskin is the part of the skin that is surgically removed from its attachment to the gland of the penis. Okay. Here is the image of the penis. The red labeling show you the main structure of the penis. Okay, the root, body, and gland. Alright, and here in the left image is the frontal section of the penis. Meanwhile, in the right image is the horizontal section of the penis. Okay, if you look at the horizontal image, it looks like a shape of mouth with eyes, isn't it? Okay, from both images, you can see that the body or shaft of the penis contains corpus spongiosum and corpora cavernosa. Okay, both corpus spongiosum and corpora cavernosa facilitate in penile erection. Okay? Corpus spongiosum is a single structure that lies between two corpora cavernosa. Okay? The urethra passes through the corpus spongiosum. Okay? As I mentioned earlier, the corpus spongiosum encircles the urethra. The end part of the corpus spongiosum is expanded to form the gland penis. Okay, another important characteristic in the penis is the base part of the corpus spongiosum, which is called the bulb of the penis. Meanwhile, the base part of the corpora cavernosa is called the crus of the penis. Okay. Okay, that's all for the anatomy of male reproductive system. With that, thank you everyone for your attention.